Hi, we're Mark and Kim Helinski, founders of Helinski's Hope. In 2020, we launched our podcast, United, Conversations for Student Athletes, under the guidance and support of host and sports psychologist Dr. Josie Nicholson.
And after 257 episodes, United has become that place of meaningful conversation and thoughtful dialogue for our student athletes.
We're relaunching United and excited to partner with our big team at Indiana University.
And we'll pass it over now to Dr. Jesse and his doc students in Indiana. Welcome to United.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kim. Welcome to United. I'm your host, Dr. Jesse Steinfeldt. I am a sports psychologist and a professor here at Indiana University, where I direct our doctoral program, which is known, to those who know, as Big Team. Here at IU, we have one of the top training programs in the nation. Shout out to our Texas Mafia brethren in North Texas, but Big Team is nationally renowned for our elite training in sport and performance psychology, where graduate students integrate performance enhancement and mental health so they can become licensed psychologists with advanced competence in sport and performance psychology. Many of these amazing PhD students are former college and professional athletes who now want to give back to the sport. Graduates of our program are crushing it in the field, working with Olympic athletes like Dr. Julia Kothra with the USOPC, professional athletes like Dr. Carrie Guess with the Boston Celtics, college athletes like Dr. Foltz with The Ohio State University and Dr. Aubrey Kinney with the Iowa Hawkeyes. They are making a difference, helping athletes become the best version of themselves on and off the courts. Now we are embarking on an exciting new adventure. We are so psyched to be part of the United family. My colleague and friend, Dr. Josie Nicholson, the GOAT, she shepherded this podcast in excellence in 2020, and Josie was masterful on the mic for those 4 years. Then Ryan Helinski took it for a spin as host and did a great job with it. Between the two of them, they produced 257 episodes, setting United up as the premier podcast for educational and entertaining conversations on student-athlete mental health. So we have big shoes to fill, but Big Team's up to the task. I'm hitting the airwaves today to tell you that United is rebooting and landing here in Bloomington, Indiana in 2026. My PhD students and I will be captaining the United ship, bringing you this first-of-its-kind model of host rotation and collective collaboration to produce episodes for the United podcast. We will be using their collective creativity and expertise, rotating the mic across some really talented doctoral students who are interpersonally gifted and wickedly knowledgeable about student-athlete mental health. Our episodes will feature conversations with athletes, with coaches, with psychologists, with professionals, with celebrities, and a whole bunch of others. Our goal is to inform you, to entertain you, and to make you think critically about this complex area of student-athlete mental health within the fantastic field of sport and performance psychology that we all feel so passionately about. We are blessed to be picking up where Josie and Ryan left off. We will maintain the legacy of awesomeness at United, honoring Tyler and making Mark and Kim proud, while putting our own unique stamp on the podcast with the fresh energy and insightful perspectives that these elite doctoral students possess. And we hope to reach student athletes to give them voice, to give them hope, and to give them the tools they need to be successful on and off the field, all while making you laugh and think. The reboot will be titled United with Big Team at Indiana University. And today, our task in this teaser episode, number 258, is to introduce you to the fun cast of folks who will be co-captaining the SS United with me in 2026. You get a chance to meet all 12 of them today, coming at you in their new natural habitats and showcasing their knowledge, their wit, and their humor. So Miata, you are the Big Team cheerleader. I cannot think of anyone better to bring the energy and get this party started. Take it away.
Thank you, Jesse. Again, my name is Miata, and I'm excited to welcome you to the United Podcast, Big Team Edition. We're so lucky to be your host. I'm very grateful to the previous hosts of the podcast that have made it what it is today, and excited that we can pick up this opportunity. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm originally from St. Charles, Missouri, and moved to Indiana to actually attend Indiana University. I received my undergraduate degree in psychology and a minor in kinesiology with a neuroscience certificate. I also cheered at IU, complementing my studies. I was fortunate to be a part of 3 UCA national championships on the all-girl team with IU cheer. I went away to Ball State for a master's program in sports psychology and rehabilitation counseling, but couldn't get enough of the Hoosier life and returned to the PhD program under Dr. Steinfeldt. My research interests involve neuropsychology, along with eating and body image concerns. And so currently, I am exploring body image perceptions after retiring from Division I cheerleading as the aesthetic sport culture paired with Western ideologies about female body image. Well, I'll just save that for an episode on the podcast. Other topics that you should look for in 2026 include discussions around the new professional cheerleading league, mental blocks, as well as implications of the coach-athlete relationship. We are incredibly lucky to have a field tailored towards sport culture, and the sport world is so near and dear to my heart. My personal athletic journey has really shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm very appreciative that I get to give back to other athletes as well. Not only do we support athletes, but we also support the general clinical mental health population. So hopefully you find that our discussions on the podcast can be something that's applicable to everyone. Thank you again for your time. Super excited to have you here on the podcast. Now let me pass it along to someone who actually knows ball, my colleague and good friend, Eli Friedman. Eli, take it away.
Great toss, Miata. I don't know if I know anything about ball, but what I do know is that those Hoosiers are #1 in the AP polls. They got the Heisman favorite, and they're taking over the United podcast. My name is Eli Friedman. I'm a 5th-year PhD candidate in counseling and sports psychology under the great Dr. Josie Steinfeldt. I've always been enamored with human behavior since a kid, how people think, feel, behave, especially in high-performing environments. That curiosity, paired with my love for basketball, allowed me to pursue being a college basketball manager in college at the University of Arizona. Go Wildcats. There and then, I saw the firsthand student-athlete real and raw experience, which made me want to pursue a doctorate in counseling and sports psychology and become a clinical sports psychologist. Currently, I'm at Hofstra University in New York, in their athletic department. I'm super excited not only to be part of the United podcast, but its mission, to spread awareness around student-athlete mental health and well-being. My research and conversations on this podcast will focus on 2 underdeveloped and underdiscussed topics in sports psychology. 1, coaches' mental health, and 2, the NIL and transfer portal era, and how our coaches and student athletes are coping with these changes. Now, speaking of number 1, let's check in on what's happening on our new practicum site, where they don't lose a lot, at Decatur High School, where my colleague Nina is doing some really high-level work. Nina, kicking it off to you.
Nice pass, Eli. I really got a kick out of that. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Nina Witzik, and I'm a 2nd-year PhD student in the Counseling and Sports Psych program at IU. I'm so stoked to be here on the United podcast alongside my fellow Big Team members, and just want to give a shout out again to Kim and Mark for giving us this opportunity. At the moment, I'm coming to you from the soccer field at Decatur Central High School in Indianapolis, where I am doing my clinical training this year. Indy is pretty far from home for me, as I grew up in Southern California, and more specifically Ventura County, just south of LA. And yes, the cold is an adjustment, but I've really been loving the snow. You can just ask my neighbors who make fun of me for being the SoCal girl, who you can find taking in the snowfall with awe every time it happens. In my athletic past, I was a kicker, a hooper, a runner, and in my spare time, a beachgoer. I loved boogie boarding, surfing, bodyboarding. My athletic career started and it ended with soccer. And I played rec and club soccer through middle school, and as the club commitments ramped up, my family supported me in making the decision to step away from soccer. So in high school, I was a 3-sport athlete in cross country, basketball, and track and field. And then as a community college student who wasn't quite satisfied with putting my competitive athletic career to rest, I picked up soccer again after 6 years away and finished out my career at California Lutheran University in 2018. Oh, let's go Regals. As an undergraduate, I was studying psychology and took my first sports psych class as a junior. Needless to say, I fell in love with the field, and that offered this perfect blend of my 2 passions, and I've been hooked ever since. I got to pursue my master's degree at Springfield College in Massachusetts, aka the place where James Naismith invented basketball, and I did that alongside some powerhouses in the sports psych field. Shout out to my mentors, Dr. Judy Van Raal and Dr. Britt Brewer. As a doctoral student, my current research interest is to explore the role of religion and spirituality in coping among Division I football players. In this current era of D1 athletics, and specifically the high-profile revenue-generating sport of college football, student athletes are facing mounting performance pressures, and as they adapt to the effects of policy changes surrounding NIL and the transfer portal, as well as the typical stressors of being a collegiate athlete, it's critical that we understand how they may effectively cope with these demands to, in turn, support their performance and overall well-being. With that, over the past several years, I've become more aware of how outspoken this population is about the role of faith in their sporting success. And most recently, watching IU football go 13-0, led by quarterback Fernando Mendoza, who consistently honors his faith when interviewed, has really solidified to me that this topic warrants some further exploration and that religion and spirituality may be a helpful coping resource for elite performers. Clinically, I'm still in the process of finding my niche, but I'm really loving my work here at Decatur Central High School, where I get to meet with student athletes for one-on-one sessions and help them sharpen performance and improve mental health and well-being. I also get to work alongside teams and coaches to help them optimize mental performance and cohesion, and I run workshops with our student athletes in their strength and conditioning classes, where I share some psychoeducation on various sports psych topics and have them engage in experiential learning activities to drive home these learnings. This semester, we have been focusing on cultivating hardiness in sport and life. Okay, before I pass it off to the next team member, I will wrap with a few rapid-fire questions. So, best place to get pizza. Hands down, Tudo's Pizza Company in Agoura Hills, California. They've got an incredible sourdough crust, they're good people, and they catered my backyard wedding with excellence. Our guests still talk about how good the food was that day, and I can't wait to get back for a visit and apply. Who is my sport and performance psych idol or role model and why? That would be high performance psychologist Dr. Michael Gervais. Being an avid listener of his podcast, I appreciate his approach to discussions with high performers, the way he thinks about sport and performance topics, and his working definition of failure, which is the inability or unwillingness to go for it. His skillfulness in navigating challenging conversations, his energy, and his professionalism inspire me. And I'm a student of his work, and I hope to reach his caliber of practitioner and podcaster in my professional career. How do I define sport and performance psychology? In my practice, I consider my work with athletes to be an active exploration of how to optimize the work of the mind in support of performance outcomes and well-being. My walkout song in my last seasons of college soccer, I always queued up Thunderstruck by AC/DC as a part of my pregame ritual. My dad and I listened to a lot of AC/DC before my games when I was little, and so I finished out my career listening to the hype song that started it all. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Looking forward to seeing y'all in 2026. Now let's kick it over to Madeline.
Hello, Allegra. Hi, everyone. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to be joining the United podcast. I'm originally from Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, but currently in my first year of the doctoral program here at Indiana University, which I'm joining from a rec center. My sport experience was a little bit of everything growing up, including basketball, competitive swimming, and eventually Division I volleyball. Right now, I'm working at the Counseling and Wellness Clinic here at Indiana University, as well as private practice with youth athletes. Beyond my clinical work, my research focuses on the transfer portal and the female student-athlete experience during transitions. Outside of research, I've got a personality too, so to share this with you guys, I've put together my Mount Rushmore of romantic comedy movies. This includes Love and Basketball, Miss Congeniality, Serendipity, and Pretty Woman. Fun facts aside, let's talk about something that impacts athletes everywhere. A lot of people might wonder, why do we need sports psychologists if mental health counselors and therapists exist? Well, athletes experience mental health challenges at higher rates than the general population, yet they're often less likely to seek help. Sports psychology professionals have a unique opportunity, not just to address the mental health concerns, but to help athletes reach their full potential both on and off the court. Since implementing sports psychology professionals, many athletes have reported that access to these professionals have been life-saving. Look out for an episode coming this spring where we'll talk to you about the transfer portal. Since the 2021 legislative change, athlete transfers have surged. Over 24,000 Division I athletes have entered the portal in 2024 alone. While 63% committed to new schools, over 9,000 remained active in the portal or withdrew their names. Transitions like these leave athletes vulnerable to mental health challenges, which are both the leading reason for athletes considering a transfer and a common consequence of these transfers. I hope to catch up with you all later in an episode to explore the realities of the transfer portal, its psychological impacts, and strategies to support athletes through these high-stakes decisions, equipping athletes, coaches, and sports psychology professionals to navigate this process with clarity and care. Pass it off to you, Jessica. Take this.
Nice hit, Madeline. I could barely pass it. and this bump gets in the way. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Wolf, and I'm currently a second-year PhD student at Indiana University. I'm currently providing sports psychology services to the students here at Mooresville High School.
Go! Pioneers!
Thank you to those student athletes for popping into this video. And as you could see before, I and my husband are expecting our first child due on New Year's Eve. We are overjoyed and cannot wait to welcome our baby girl into this world. A little about me. I am originally from the great yet cold state of Minnesota. However, that does not make me a Vikings football fan. I played collegiate Division I volleyball at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, and I have been a Packers fan for all my life. Go Pack, go. I was drawn into the field of sports psychology after learning I needed major surgery to repair my labrum in my right hip during my senior year of playing college volleyball. I was a returning captain and the only returning player in my position at the time on the team. I remember feeling so defeated and alone, like I had lost a piece of who I was in that moment. Shortly after hearing that news, I was referred to a sports psychologist. She helped me not only embrace the suck of injury recovery and pain management, but also see different ways that I could contribute to my team outside of being physical on the court. She helped me find purpose again in my sport and in my own life. And through this, I realized more athletes needed sports psychology, and it remains one of the biggest reasons why I decided to pursue sports psychology as my future career. It also continues to fuel my passion for researching long-term health consequences experienced by previous NCAA athletes who endured a severe injury during their sport eligibility. So, enough about me. Let's talk about this podcast and its awesomeness. The United podcast is such a powerful tool for athletes and their mental health. It brings real stories, honest conversations, and expert insights together in a way that feels both relatable and actionable. It highlights the lived experience of athletes, coaches, community leaders, and it breaks down the stigma and encourages listeners to reflect, connect, and expand upon their own skills. It blends vulnerability, education, and gives practical takeaways, which makes it an inspiring resource for anyone looking to strengthen their mental well-being. I'm very much looking forward to being just a small piece of this amazing project and hosting my sister in a future episode on siblings in sports, where we plan on discussing our experiences of what it was like to compete together on the same collegiate volleyball team, sharing both our challenges and our success stories. So, with that, I'll set it off to Hallie. Let's see what you still got.
Nice set, Jess. Looks like we still got it. Hey everyone, I'm Hallie Enderle from Mankato, Minnesota, and I'm a fifth-year school psychology PhD student from Indiana University. My lifelong love of volleyball and sport has led me to this amazing sport and performance psychology group here at IU. Now, I'm an aspiring sport and performance psychology clinician. I've spent the last couple years working at the mental side of the game at Edgewood High School, where we work on everything from confidence to composure, self-talk, routines, identity, and navigating pressure. I've worked with youth and high school age athletes, and I've seen firsthand how empowering it is when athletes learn to understand their minds the same way they understand their body and skills. On the clinical side, I worked in private practice settings, supporting students and athletes through anxiety, depression, transitions, and the challenge of balancing performance with the rest of life. I approach mental health from a whole person perspective, where performance is just one piece of their story. My research focuses on a bigger story too. The well-being and mental health of college volleyball athletes is something that I'm excited to explore more and talk more about. My dissertation will focus on exploring the mental health experiences of Division I volleyball players' mental health and well-being, and I'll use qualitative interviews to highlight what supports their well-being as well as what gets in the way. That work keeps me grounded in the voices of student athletes, not just in theory. This podcast is where all of that comes together: science, sport, mental health, and the conversations we don't always get to have. My goal is to make these ideas accessible, useful, and honest, and I can't wait to host episodes that continue to integrate the best sport in the world, volleyball, and mental health. Whether you're an athlete, coach, parent, or someone who's just curious about the mental side of the game, we are so glad that you're here. As a former college middle blocker, passing was never the strongest part of my game, but let's see if that skill's got any better over time. Hey, Josie, heads up.
Hey, I'm working here. My new boss is very serious and does not like playtime during work time. Oh, it's the new folks from United. Oh, they must have had a bad pass during their teaser episode. That is a bad pass to go from Indiana to Mississippi. Well, while you're here, I might as well introduce myself. I'm Dr. Josie Nicholson, the award-winning former host of the United podcast. That's right, I won an award. Well, I got an award. Well, Mark and Kim made me this, and it looks like an award. Anyway, I am so excited for the doctoral students in IU Sports Psychology program to be taking over United and giving it a fresh new look. Just like the Indiana Hoosiers football team this year, they win, Google it, just like Coach Signetti says. This group is going to take the United podcast to #1 in the national rankings. So, RJ, I think you're going to need this.
I still got it. Thanks for the handoff, Dr. Nicholson, both literally and figuratively. Hey everyone, my name is RJ Russell, and I'm a first-year PhD student in the Counseling and Sports Psychology program here at Indiana University. I'm excited to be able to take over the podcast this upcoming year with the rest of the big team, Dr. Nicholson, and our fearless leader, Dr. Josie Steinfeldt. Now, enough with the formalities. I'm coming to y'all from IU track facility. As we'll be working in the CWC, which is our teaching clinic here at IU next semester. Now, as you can see, bundled up a little bit because I'm a Southern boy, originally from a small town called Richlands, North Carolina. And I definitely miss the warmth. Now, once upon a time, I was a track athlete at Ohio State, but now I'm retired. As you can see, I'm already out of breath. But now you're probably wondering why sports psychology, or what made me get into it. So I originally transferred to Ohio State from a smaller school in North Carolina. Once I got there, I ended up getting injured and even tried to compete through injury, but it took a toll on both my mental health, physical health, and just overall well-being. And truthfully, if it weren't for the sports psychologist that I had at Ohio State, I might not be here today. But because of those experiences, I want to be able to help future athletes and provide the same resources that helped me. So my research interests focus on the pressure to push through injuries and perform, social support with teammates, and just also those relationships on those athletic teams, because they're so important. Now, I'm out here at the track, so decided to tell y'all my welcome to track moment, and that would definitely be starting middle school track. Shout out to Trexler Middle. But on the first day of tryouts, I took out 3 hurdles, and myself included. And so safe to say, I was never allowed to do hurdles again after that. And I decided to stick with just running in circles. So I was a 400, 800 guy when I ran. And so when I host this upcoming year, I'll be talking about a couple different things, but mostly about injured athletes, the need for social support. As an athlete, I had the firsthand experience of being injured and feeling like I wasn't contributing to the team and not feeling supported by my teammates and peers. And as a researcher, I've spent time examining this experience and how it's important to discuss this and how we can create athletic cultures that are supportive and promote positive mental health and well-being. All right, y'all. That's all the time I have for y'all. And I guess it's time for me to pass off the baton. So it's up to you, Maria. Bring it in.
Great handoff, RJ. Smooth like butter, just as my old track coach used to say. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Dugo. I'm a current 3rd year here at IU. I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago, but my roots are located in Sicily. I did my undergrad at University of Arizona, where I started to work with athletes. And from there, I went and did my master's degree at University of Denver. And currently, here I am at IU. I've had the opportunity to work with athletes both in a clinical perspective and also in a research perspective over the years. So in the many hats I currently wear, working part-time, teaching here at IU, doing research, and taking classes of my own, I'm currently exploring cultural humility in sport, what that looks like, and the coach-athlete relationship. Historically, I've looked at microaggressions in sport and diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in sport. So my goal is to build off that. And these are some of the things I'm going to be talking with you about in 2026. So I look forward to sharing a little bit about cultural humility in sport, the immigrant athlete experience, and identity in sport, what that looks like, and intersectionality. So that's what you can expect from me in 2026. I also think it's really important for me to note one of my idols in sports psych, which is Dr. Bree Jones Copeland, who is a current professor at University of Denver, works as a sports psych consultant for USA Track and Field, among the many other hats that she wears. I met her when she was getting her doctorate degree and I was getting my master's degree. Reached out to her. I was interested in some research she was doing, and immediately she welcomed me to her team. From that point on, I learned so much from her, and among many different things, the importance of authenticity and infusing healing practices within our clinical work. So, through my time, I hope to lean into that and learn how I can be authentic in the space, as I really admire the way that she's done that through her time as a professional. All right. Well, I look forward to tuning back in 2026. Mev, you're the last leg. Go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Maria. But the only place you'll find me running is on court. Hey, everyone. My name is Mevish Sufder. A lot of people like to call me Mev. A little bit about me. So my family is originally from Pakistan, but I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm currently living in Durham, North Carolina, after having lived in Bloomington, Indiana for 4 years, where I completed all the in-person program requirements for my PhD in counseling and sports psych, where I also got to work as the sports psych intern for IU athletics. So, as far as my sport background goes, I grew up playing competitive tennis, following the lead of my 2 older sisters, ended up playing college tennis, but now I'm actually playing professional pickleball on the Pro Pickleball Tour while balancing working on my dissertation and meeting program requirements. So, as far as clinical and research interests go, I'm interested in performance anxiety, athletes transition out of sport, as well as the fast growing sport of pickleball as it relates to mental health and mental performance, which is largely untouched. So, sport and performance psychology is a really helpful and needed field given your mindset and mental health matter and they impact. They impact the way you perform, your happiness, the way you interact with the world. So it's so important to attend to your mindset and your mental health so you can thrive on and off the court. And so in 2026, I plan to release an episode on performance anxiety, which is one of the most common challenges that athletes and performers face. So we talk about what does it look like? And also, how do we manage it? Also, speaking of plans for 2026, a couple of toxic traits that I have that I plan to leave behind in 2025 are 1, leaving things in the pantry and fridge that are empty and need to be thrown away, but I just leave them in there anyways. And 2, leaving my contacts anywhere and everywhere for people to find and be annoyed with. So, given that, Katie, let's see if you can handle this heat.
Nice try, Mev, but you can't get it past me that easily. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Johnson, and I'm a third-year PhD student here at Indiana University. And as you can see, I'm a former washed-up college softball player. And I guess now, as a PhD student, I provide sports psych services as a sports psychology intern at Edgewood High School, which is one of the local high schools here in the area. And for my research, I'm currently researching perfectionism and burnout in sport and performance psychology grad trainees. So I'm more on the professional side of it. But I also do research in the yips and other professional issues in sports psychology. So in 2026, I'm looking forward to hosting an episode about the yips and athletes' experience of the yips, as well as how we can work with athletes to manage their symptoms whenever they experience it. And so how I got into sports psychology was actually through the yips. And so that's sort of how I got full circle back into this moment. And I have to give a shout out to two of my mentors at Georgia Southern, Doctors Brandon Harris and Megan Bird, because they were very influential in shaping me into the professional I am. And I would not be where I am without them today. And so if I'm reflecting on my experience as a college softball player and as an athlete growing up, one question I get asked is what my parents would often say to me in the car ride home from games. And a little fun fact about me, and I'm not sure what this says about me, but my dad actually never talked to me after games, especially after bad performances, because he said I had an attitude problem. So I guess it's a good thing that I'm now back in the field helping athletes manage their emotions and such after performance and during performance. And so now I'm going to pass it over to Josh Jackson and see if QB1 can handle it.
Great throw there, Katie. Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Jackson. I'm a fifth-year PhD candidate at Indiana University studying counseling and sport and performance psychology. In my past life, I was a quarterback. I played for Virginia Tech from 2016 to 2018, and also at the University of Maryland in 2019. But due to injury, due to burnout, due to finding a new avenue of life outside of football, I joined the PhD program shortly after that, and that really was inspired from a mentor of mine. His name is Greg Harden. He was a clinical social worker and worked with athletes at the University of Michigan for over 30 years and had significant impact on those individuals' lives, just like he did myself and the reason I'm here. And I couldn't be more thankful for the impact he had on myself. So now, as I'm in my PhD, I'm studying college quarterback cognitive functioning and how that may impact performance, but also looking into just really diving into the field of sport and performance psychology. I'm looking forward to being able to welcome on Divine Diablo, former teammate and best friend of mine at Virginia Tech, who's now a starting linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons. So hope to talk just about his journey, talk about injury, position change, and just his journey to the National Football League. And it's been up and down, but something that he has obviously done a phenomenal job at. So very excited to welcome him onto the United podcast here soon. And then the last couple of things about myself, I'm a Disney adult at heart. I'm a big Lion King fan. I got a dog named Simba. I may or may not have 2 Lion King tattoos, but that's enough about myself. Now let's get to Josie Steinfeldt, our advisor and director here at this United podcast. So Josie, more about those hammies. You go.
Still got it. Josh, that was a hell of a throw. Do it so far, change climates. I'm here in the beautiful snow as a proud Wisconsinite, hailing from the mean streets of Green Bay. Go Pack. This is my natural habitat. I'm excited. I hope you had a good time today. Right? You got to meet all of us, get a sense of who we are, what we're about. Hope that you can realize that we care about sports. We love sports. We're passionate about sport performance psychology. We care about student athletes and their mental health. And we are committed to the 3 E's of this podcast. First E, we're here to educate you about the complex and changing environment that student athletes have to operate in to maintain their well-being and manage mental health. Second E is entertain. We're going to have fun, right? With irreverent takes, witty perspectives, while still breaking down critical constructs that are meaningful to student athletes and their loved ones. And the third E is we're here to inform you about student athlete mental health. I know that's an I, but play along with me. The 3 E sounds cool, doesn't it? So it's been a fun journey here on this teaser podcast. And we're having one more wrinkle to inform you about. My doc students and I teach a class at Indiana University called Education G207, Introduction to Sports Psychology and Student Athlete Mental Health. And we are going to add an assignment where the undergraduate students create a podcast. We'll pick the best one, and those winners will grab the mic, record it, and put themselves on the airwaves and deliver you some fun content. So if you are an IU undergrad, in addition to cheering for our undefeated Big Ten champion Hoosier football team in the Rose Bowl and beyond, you should enroll in G207 because that's an awesome course It just got a whole lot awesomer. So here we are. We've talked about who we are, what we're going to do. It's time for the reveal. So, Aiden, can I borrow a drum roll from you, big guy? United with Big Team at Indiana University is coming at you in 2026. Tune in.
And now passing it over to my sweet sister Addison, where she will be singing the 12 Days of Christmas with some United Yuletime cheer.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
On the 12th day of Christmas, United gave to me Dr. Josie Steinfeldt, Maria Dugo, Eli Friedman, Hallie Enderly, Miata Walker, Nina Winsick, Katie Johnson, R.J. Russell, Madeline Cook, Mavish Safdar, Joshua Jackson, and Jess Wolf and her baby. Happy holidays!